Types of governance system. In this context, we are going to discuss about the different forms or types of governance system. First of all, we had already known about governance system in the last class. Governance system is the system to run the regular affairs of the nation. Governance system is a method, strategy, and techniques to run the nation. Different countries have different types of governance system. For example, let's say according to the Article 4 of the Constitution of Nepal, Nepal's governance system is Federal Democratic Republic system. Nepal is also following the footstep of parliamentary governance system. Similarly, there is communism in China. In Bhutan, there is monarchic system. In America, there is presidential system. In this way, different countries have different types of governance system. Sometimes the governance system of one country also matches with the other countries, but there are some systematic differences in the world. Different countries are practicing different types of governance system. So governance system is the method, procedures, techniques, strategies that a government applies to run the nation. So this is one of the definition of the governance system. The first type of governance system that I'm going to illustrate is about monarchic system. So monarchic system is related to the kings and queens. Monarchs means kings and queens. Either there can be kings or queens. So monarchic system is that type of system where there is rule of king and queen. So in the present time also, many countries like Great Britain, Bhutan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Thailand, Oman, UAE, etc. follow the footstep of monarchy. These countries practice the footstep of monarchy. They are in the line of monarchic system. Though in the present time, many countries have departed from monarchic system. Even our country from 2062, when there was second people movement, Nepal left monarchic system, and Nepal practiced the context of federal democratic republicanism. In that context, we want to say that monarchy system is also the type of governance system where the rule is reigned by king and queens. Even at present time, many countries in the world are practicing this type of system that is called monarchic system. Second one is about the second one is about communism or single party governance system. So this type of communism is related to the idea of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. They wrote the book in 1848, February 21. The name of the book was The Manifesto of Communist Party. This book is the key mantra of communism. Those people who are communists, they try to follow the trends of this book. However, we cannot apply each and every aspect of this book because this book was written in 1848. Many of the aspects of that time was related to counter attack, and different types of revolution has been glorified by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. According to them, the first sentence of the book starts with the phrase, with the sentence, the history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggle. The first sentence of the book is this one that I have quoted from the book. The history of all hitherto existing society is the society of class struggles. According to them, this class struggle is very important for the Marxist or communist. They believe that and this class struggle, class conflict is very necessary for the advancement of freedom, liberation, and brotherhood. When you have class conflict, when you challenge your masters, when you challenge your owner, when you challenge the people who makes you work hard, then you can get freedom. He wrote this book during the time when Europe was guided by the industrialism. There were so many workers class. They were dominated, exploited by the company owners. In that context, this book was written, and this book is supposed to be one theory, and it was practically applied by Lenin Stalin, Mao, Lenin and Stalin practiced this form of governance in Russia, and Mao practiced this form of governance in China. And according to this system, they believe upon proletariat. There is one quotation: proletariat and bourgeois. Those bourgeois are rich class people, the people who are rich, the people who have factories, the people who are very rich business men, they are called bourgeois. And proletariat are those people who are very poor, who are just living in the street, who work very hard and they earn very less. Their amount is only necessary. That amount they earn is only useful to buy food and clothes, and they don't have any luxurious life. So according to Karl Marx, the proletariat have to challenge bourgeois, because domination and exploitation is not tolerated. They are the things that must be counterattacked. That is why this proletariat has to fight over bourgeois. And the communism also intends to establish the society of proletariat. There should not be bourgeois. It is what the communism targets. If there are bourgeois in the world, then they will continue exploiting the poor people. They will continue the proletariat. That is why they are trying to eliminate bourgeois from the society. This is what communism believes. They focus too much on poor people. Poor people are focused too much. But in the context of Nepal, in the name of communism, uh, they are not like communists. They are just centered to their own development. So this is what communist system of governance is. This type of governance system is mainly practiced by Russia and China. At the same time, there is Cuba, Laos, North Korea, and Vietnam. These countries are also practicing communism in their nation, in their state. So this is what communism refers to. Then we have to go to the federalism. Federalism is also a system of governance where one country is divided into different parts, and in different parts there are different governments. For example, there is a higher government, middle class government, and the lower class government. So federalism is the system where one country is divided into different parts, and that is divided constitutionally. The constitution uh, talks about federalism. In decentralization, the constitution doesn't talk, but in federalism, everything is decided by the constitution. So federalism is a system of governance where there is the joint rule of union, that is federation, kendra, province, and local governments. So these types of multi-level governments can be found in federalism. The country which is trying to practice federalism has to uh, they have to they have to divide the country in different parts and with different governments. Such provision is defined by the constitution. Thus federalism can be defined as the political system based upon democratic rules and institution on which the governance power is shared between national, provincial, and local government. It means that in federalism, national, provincial, and local government, or the central, province, and local government, they rule their territory according to the constitutional provisions. In our constitution also, there are some schedules. They have defined the rights and duties and functions of different tiers of government. So this type of governance system is practiced by India, Nepal, US, Brazil, South Africa, Canada, Switzerland, etc. These countries are following the concept of federalism. So the just opposite of federalism is unitary system of governance. In the past time, when Nepal was not federal country, in that time Nepal had unitary system. Unitary system is called Ekatma. That the in this system, unitary system, everything is inherent in center. Like the center is too much focused. There is one capital city, and every offices, every decision making bodies, different types of central departments, they are located in this in the in the center. So this type of governance, in this type of governments, the power, reign rights, and the controlling mechanism is centered in the central level. Every part of nation like zone, local level, regional level, districts are guided, controlled, and operated by the central level. Even our country, Nepal, adopted this sort of governance in the past. In the past time, Nepal was also guided by the same pattern. Nepal also followed the footstep of unitary system of governance. In that time, many of the things, many of the things that happened in the center was too much decisive. People had to come to the center for different purposes. There was no any concept of federalism, though there was decentralization, but in decentralization, local bodies had to be accountable to the central level. That is like delegating the power, devolving the power from center to the local bodies. But in federalism, the local bodies are free to make their own rules. They are free to make their own decision for the betterment of local areas. They are not supposed to be guided, controlled, regulated, and hegemonized by the higher authorities. So this type of system is called unitary system of governance. And we cannot say that federalism is only one aspects that is necessary for the development of country. If we practice unitary system in a very, very celestial manner, in a very, very gorgeous manner, then there is also the possibility of development. It is because we can take some examples like UK, Japan, Norway, Ireland, Scotland. These countries are not practicing federalism. There are not different level of government like federal government, union government, provincial government, state government, and local government. They had only one government in the center, and the countries are developed too. They are also developed. It doesn't mean that only one way of development is federalism, because if there is good governance, then unitary system of governance can also be necessary for the development. Then it is presidential system or Rashtrapati Pranali. Uh, in this system, the president is in the power. The president is directly elected by the people. In our context, we elect the member of parliament, and they select president. But in the context of presidential system of governance, the president is directly chosen by the people, by the sovereign citizens. They select the president, they choose the president, they elect the president, and president has too much power. The president can also his words are like law. This type of presidential system is practiced in the countries like USA, Mexico, Argentina. These countries are practicing presidential system of governments. In our context, though there is president, we cannot say that our country is practicing presidential system of governance, because in our context, the president is just only ceremonial. The executive right is not practiced by the president. The executive right is practiced by the prime ministers, who is selected from the parliament. That is why the presidential system of governance, in the presidential system of governance, the president has too much power. He can influence each and every sector of the nation. America is the best example of this presidential system of governance.